established rich coming right back at you. And this story right here is about Charleston White, DaBaby, and a painting that turned into a whole situation. This is about boundaries, and this is about how people see their children. This started in Dallas outside of a club. An artist walked up to DaBaby with a painting of his 2 daughters. It was hand painted and detailed. He looks at the painting and he walks off without saying anything.
Hey, Rock, hey, put out of the shit. Hey, Rock, hey, put out of the shit.
That moment right there is what started everything. That moment is what got people talking. Some people said he was wrong. Some people said he did exactly what a father should have did. Now, DaBaby comes back and explains himself. He said he didn't like the situation at all. He said it felt weird and he didn't like people painting pictures of his children. He also said something very clear. He does not want people using his children for attention. And then he took it further. He warned the artist to remove all his children's images.
And another thing too, man, is y'all starting to get on my motherfucking nerves. Talking about Buddy with this painting of my 2 daughters, 2 of my daughters, that he presented to me outside of a nightclub or whatever. First and foremost, I'm not the type of father that I'm not into, like, you know, grown men discussing my daughters, painting pictures of my daughters, taking pictures of my kids. I don't play like that. If you play like that, to each his own. You see what I'm saying? Like, more power to you. Send a picture of your daughters, let them paint them, and then show them some appreciation. Number 2, I'm not accepting no painting of my daughters outside of a nightclub. Number 3, you see what I'm saying? You feel a way about, you know, the principles I stand on with my kids and how far I go to protect them. That ain't none of my concern. Be more grateful to it. Let's go.
Now that's his position. And that position is rooted in one thing. He is a father first, and he is a protector of his children, and you can't ignore that part. You can't tell a man how to feel about his kids. Every parent has a different line. Every parent has a different level of comfort. Some people will see the painting as love. Some people gonna see it as crossing the line. Now here's where the other side comes in. Charleston White stepped in, and he starts to defend the artist. He says the man is not a weirdo. He paints these images out of love. He also reveals something important. He says the artist is his cousin. So now this gets personal for him. Now he's speaking from a different place.
The reason I ain't never liked DaBaby because I first seen him in Austin, Texas, walking around with a pamper on as a grown man. So I don't like a grown man with the name DaBaby, no way. The guy who drew the picture for him is my second cousin. His name is B. White. He runs an art studio called B. White Creations. Very reputable guy. Every celebrity, and I mean every celebrity who have come through the Dallas-Fort Worth area, B. White Creations have drawn a picture for. He's very popular. He's drawn pictures for everybody. He don't ask for no money. He does this, and he's very creative. He does this on wood. So he does this on wood. So he's drawn this for me. He draw this on wood canvas. So this just not no guy. This just not no guy that's drawing pictures of DaBaby's daughter. This is a guy who, if he admire you, he's drawn pictures for everybody. Let me just say this. When God put us in this position, all the man did was, out of gratitude, admiration, respect, and love, brought a picture to you. And because God done lifted you up, these people look up to you, they admire you, and sometimes they idolize us. They idolize us so much where they want to draw things for us and give us something. They come to give you a gift out of love, admiration, and respect, and you reject it with accusations of me. Nah, man, let me show you something what this brother done. And this is my relative, homie. And this is paintings. He drew this for Kanye. I showed this to Kanye. Me and Kanye just ain't met yet. So guess what? I put it on my wall.
Be sure to like, comment,
I got
and
paintings
subscribe.
from everybody, man. These are the people he admire, homie. I ain't met Eddie yet, but I got that for Eddie. Got this for Cat. Be White Creations. I got this Kanye. Showed that to Kanye. But when I showed Kanye this, Kanye lit up when I showed him that. That's Kanye mama. When I showed him that, I showed this to Kanye. Kanye lit up. So this man ain't just writing stuff, homie, just doing stuff, homie. So my little cousin, he don't ask for no money, homie. I just pay him for the pictures. I told him, painting celebrities. Go paint regular people, family portraits, marriage photo, prom photo, celebrities. When I paused the picture to see the rejection in my little cousin's face, I felt rejected because I know he came in a good spirit. He came in love. He came with a gift and a talent that God gave him, and he bowed to somebody he see as a king, and the king spoke on him.
His argument is simple. He says the artist was showing appreciation. He says this is something he does for celebrities, and it was not malicious. He also pointed out something else. Those images were already in public. The photo came from pictures that were already online. Photos that DaBaby himself had shared of his kids. And that is where it splits right down the middle. That is where people start picking sides. Because on one side, you have a father protecting his kids. On the other side, you have an artist showing love using public images. And both of those things can be true at the same time. And both things can make sense depending on how you see it. Now let me bring this into real life for a second. Because this ain't just a celebrity thing. I got a daughter, and I put her on social media. Sometimes, not every day, but enough for people to know who she is. There are people who have never met her, but they know her face from a post I put on Facebook. Now, if somebody took that post and made a picture, I may look at it differently. I might see it as love. I might see it as somebody respecting my family. But that's me. That does not mean that's how every man is going to see it. And that's the key right there. You can't force your comfort level on somebody else. DaBaby saw that as a line being crossed. And once he saw it that way, his reaction was going to follow it. Even if somebody else would have handled it differently. Does that make DaBaby wrong? It just means his boundaries are different. But at the same time, you also have to look at the delivery. The way you respond matters. The way you speak on it matters. Because people are not reacting to what he said. They are reacting to how he said it. And that is why this became a much bigger story. Not just the rejection, but the energy around it. Now we right here in the middle of it, and you can see both sides clearly. You can see a father who didn't like the situation, and you can see an artist who probably meant well. You can see a man protecting his kids, and you can see a man protecting his family member. And that's why this is a real conversation, because there's no clear cut right or wrong. Because once that video hit the internet, everybody had an opinion. Some people said DaBaby was right. Some people said he went too far. And the split between people is clear. It came down to how you view children in privacy. On one side, people said this was protection. He did exactly what a father should do. They said you don't play about nobody's kids. You don't let strangers create access to them. They looked at the club setting and they said this ain't the place for that. They looked at the timing and said it fell off from the start. And from that view, his response made sense. From that view, his energy matched how he felt. But then you got the other side. And that side is just as loud. They say the pain was respectful. They said the fan was showing love and that there was nothing disrespectful about it. They said there was no weird intent behind it. And they pointed to the same fact that those images were already public. They say you can't put your kids online and then be mad when people see them. They say it's the visibility that comes with being in the public eye. And that's where this gets real, because both of those arguments have truth in them. You have the right, you have the duty to protect your children, but you also have to understand what comes with public exposure. Those two things collide right here. That's why this thing blew up the way it did. Now, bring Charleston White back into it, because his response added fuel to it. He didn't just defend the artist, he criticized DaBaby. He said the reaction was too aggressive and that it was uncalled for. He basically said you can't pick and choose. You can't live public and then demand private control later. And that's a strong point. But that point is not universal, because again, every parent is different. Every man has his own line when it comes to his kids. What's normal to one person can feel out of line to another person. And that don't make either one crazy. It's just a difference in perspective. Now, let's talk about the energy for a second, because that's where a lot of this really comes from. The rejection was one thing. The warning is what turned people off. When you start talking about somebody getting hurt, people stop looking at your point and start looking at your tone. And that's what happened here. The message got lost in the delivery, because if he would have just said he's uncomfortable, this wouldn't have become a big story. But the way he said it made people react stronger than they would have. And that's just keeping it real. Delivery always matters. Now, let's bring it back to real life again, because this ain't just about celebrities. This is about how we handle our children in public. This is about how much access we give the world. Because once you post something, you lose control of how far it travels. Once it's out there, it's out there. You can't pick who see it after that. And that's the part people don't like to talk about. That's the real trade-off. Visibility comes with access. Access comes with unpredictable situations. And this is one of those situations. So where do I land on this? I see both sides clearly. I understand why DaBaby felt the way he did. And I understand why the artist did what he did. I don't see a monster in this situation. I see two different perspectives colliding in public. One side is about protection. One side is about appreciation. And when those two things don't align, you get exactly what we saw. A moment that could have been quiet turned into a national conversation. And that's the real story right here. Not just the painting, but what it represents. How far is too far with somebody else's children? And who gets to decide that line? The answer is not universal. The answer is personal. And that's why this debate is not going anywhere. But hey, that's just my opinion. What's yours? Like, comment, subscribe. Established Rich. I'll be back with another one. Peace.